that more. But in terms of, I don't know, walking through your installation, I see like media, like a lot of media. Like whether it's like, okay, photography, there's film literally like on the lights, like there's pictures on the wall, then like there's mirrors, and then there's TVs, which like bring a highlight to like the space. So, and then there's like the freaking Matrix playing, and then there's like a GameCube up there. So I feel like it kind of like brings a lot of like nostalgia.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up actually. My youth was filled with like video games. I'm a gamer. So you know a lot of.
Feel free to come in.
Yeah, please.
It was recorded, so.
No, you good.
Oh, no.
It's cool. Flow in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a gamer, you know, and I feel like we all kind of come from a generation, if you're my age, we come from that generation of like the beginning of media becoming just a natural part of our life. You know, so I never knew a life without video games, without television, classic movies like that. And I just kind of tie those in with the nostalgia aspect because naturally my brand ties into that, you know, my past. Just things like that, just trying to figure out why I like the things I do, why I, you know, just gravitate towards these things. And these are some things that I could just pinpoint, you know. Like I said, I play video games, you know. So I feel like I enjoy just that digital world, you know, it's like another world in itself. So I kind of utilize my brand in that sense. I'm creating my own world, you know, I'm doing it my way. So it's like a video game, you know. Just me playing it, figuring it out level by level, and doing it like that.
And in terms of like going off this mindset around media, what kind of media do you look into today? And stemming from that, what kind of like artists do you look up to? And it doesn't even have to be visual artists, but like just people in the media that inspire you. And it could be even someone in this room, like
For one, I mean, definitely my peers. I tried to, at least a couple of years ago, kind of block my vision out of like being directly inspired by like higher ups, you know, not trying to imitate their work, but just definitely seeing, you know, the people around me that do creative work, just seeing their original work, definitely like fuels a fire in me to just, you know, kind of like do my own thing. Because I mean, these are people who are literally my age and my location. We're doing different things, but you know, it's all surrounded like that creative media and it's quality work, things like that. So that's just always a good thing to see. And I mean, I kind of dig into my past a little bit. You know, like I said, just at least from movies and things like that, things I find inspiring are just like older films, really. In terms of that, I don't know. I'm kind of like I feel like I'm a bit stuck in the past a little bit in terms of just the things that I appreciate. So I'm trying to catch up to what I feel like I should have appreciated when I was younger. I kind of feel like I lagged a bit in my adolescence in terms of just being exposed to certain things. So subconsciously storing knowledge into my brain, and it can be utilized, you know, through the medium of visuals, design, things like that. So
I want to get into Hey, but in terms of like appreciating the past and like aesthetics of the past, I see that in Hey, because you like bring out like staple pieces, like kind of like, you know, what like dads will wear like back in the day, but then you like make them contemporary to now by adding some crazy print on it that you wouldn't see on anything else. So in terms of like Hey and figuring out the aesthetic behind it, let's speak more on that. Like, I don't know, like it's like basics, but it's not basic.
Personally, and I deem myself as a bit of like a tastemaker, you know, so I kind of just, like I said, make things that I would wear, you know, and I do stem off things that like I could see other people wearing as well, but for the most part, you know, that's where that's at. I mean, it is pretty simple, you know, but I try to keep it in this like self-branding concept. It is called Hey, Hey Akile, and if you know, you can get them online. A kilogram is like my media handle, my social media handle. So it's really literally a self-branding concept. an introduction to me. Hey, Akile, and like I said, clothes, visuals are the medium, to present that. Just, introducing myself as a creative to you all, just by doing it my way.
Okay, so I want to go into like the roots of Hey, like when you first decided like, yo, I'm gonna get these t-shirts and I'm gonna put my logo on it, and did you draw the logo? Like, where did it come from? And where were you at in your life? Were you starting college? Like, were you in high school? Like, let's go in the time machine, and we're gonna go to the beginning of Hey.
Yeah, I mean, so the pickup, like I said, I felt like I lagged a bit in my adolescence. Just, not being exposed to a lot of things. But my first year of college, I mean, kind of all I knew was school. I never really like thought about what I wanted to do with my life ever. Just like kind of just floated through school, things like that. But my second year of college, I don't know, I kind of like had a bit of a distaste for just being strictly a student. I just kind of started venturing into other things. So naturally, I consider I liked clothes, I liked just street culture, streetwear culture, things like that. That's what I was into. And I mean, I never had an intention of starting a brand, literally. I don't really know why I decided to draw that face, to be honest. It seemed a bit sporadic. I do remember just like one weekend I was thinking about it, and then that Monday I went to school. I drew about 4 drawings, and then I just decided on one. I scanned it, just cleaned it up a little bit. Part of that photography class in high school was mainly learning Photoshop, so I had just naturally some experience in that and just kind of made it. I put it on 5 hats. I didn't really intend to sell it. I literally was just.
It was like dad caps?
Yeah, they were dad caps, yeah. So, and, even my peers, my friends around me at the time, they're familiar with the story, but it was just a natural thing, really just giving them things, and just people telling me like, yo, I want that, and just, all right, let me replicate this, starting with just hats in the summer, and then realizing like, okay, I can do more with this, making shirts, making hats, polos, things like that. Like I said, just to reflect myself, make things I want to wear. So.
Okay. And what are some challenges you would say that you've had with Hey, whether it was like with ideas, whether it was, because I don't know, like I see the fashion world today and there's so many things happening, and it's just like, and it's crazy too, because if you look at Virgil, right, and how he kind of put streetwear in the same conversation as high fashion, right? So now there's a different like mindset when you look at streetwear, and now people are like, oh wait, that could be high fashion, and now this world is like literally like just opening up, right? So where do you see yourself in this world where there's so many people creating and there's so many, designers, or is it just something that you're just like not even paying attention to and you're just like in your own head,
Yeah, I definitely stay in my own head, like I said, I don't want to get influenced too much by other people's work. That just happens naturally, just feeling like someone might do something better, or just got to something first, like a good idea, so I definitely don't try to pay attention, and for one, I don't really function with this brand as like fashion, you know what I'm saying? I don't really know what I would classify it as. I would just call it original, to be honest. I just, like I said, I try to filter my own views, I try to make sure I'm just designing things that I want, and I go off like an intuition feel, just seeing certain things that I do like, certain things that I know.
Okay. And then in terms of that and creating a world around Hey, I feel like a big part of this world are the people who are wearing it, right? And it's crazy because like even in the installation I see like so many different people wearing it, and like people who I don't even know, but I recognize them like through the photos, and people, wearing all the stuff, and then also you have a lot of family, wearing your stuff. What role does the community play in your work?
They keep me going, like, to be honest. I mean, I say I make clothes for myself, but just seeing other people in the clothes that I make, you know, with their own style, things like that. Definitely like kind of opens up a new world for me personally to be, you know, like I said, it's an intuition field, so I see something and just know it. I feel like I know what looks right, and I just try to implement that how I can. But it definitely plays a big role. I mean, like I said, I didn't intentionally start the brand for people to buy clothes, but to see people like genuinely flocking towards the things I create. You know, like I'm manifesting nothing from my head. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of weird to actually see a lot of people in my clothing. You know, especially people I don't know. I used to be able to trace, you know, all my purchases and things like that. But just seeing my face on the back of someone's sweater is a bit interesting. Yeah. And yes, the logo is my face, by the way. I used to have hair. If you knew me about a year ago, and I kind of. You know, like I said, it was a self-branded concept. Being my hair is a big part of my identity back then. So, I mean, if there was no hair in the logo, you know, it wouldn't be the same logo, obviously. So, you know, just tying it into that. But
yeah, speaking on your identity, I don't know, like, as an outsider, you know, from the Bronx, and like looking at the creative community here in Baltimore, everyone is so close-knit. And that's so dope. Like in New York, you don't know if you'll see the same faces at people's events and stuff. But I feel like here, the fashion and art community, like it's so tight. And even within the designers, you know, I can see someone rocking hay, and then on top of their head is another Baltimore designer. And like, what do you like? I don't know what the question is, but like, how do you feel about your role of being in this tight knit community and Baltimore being a part of your identity?
I mean, it's become important, you know, just realizing kind of the role I'm in now. You know, I do consider myself a staple of that community, so yeah. I just try to provide quality, and then, you know, I try to also stay away from my vision. I mean, I would definitely want it to grow, you know, as much as it can. Yeah. But initially, like I said, just over time, I've kind of seen this as like a project more so. Yeah. I don't believe in 10 years I'll still be doing hay. Specifically, I believe that's just something like etched in time, you know, something like a bit timeless. But, you know, it's just as of now, though, I mean, I do see myself working with this for the next 2 to 3 years, you know, just trying to build on what I'm already doing. I have plans, you know, based off just what I've been doing and what I know I can do, but just trying to obtain those materials to do those things. So that's really just my next step. I don't really try to think too far in the future because, you know, you can get caught up in that. So just worrying about, you know, my next release 6 months from now, and just keeping it like that, and just trying to figure out how to make that the best release within the 6 months through presentation. And just tedious work.
Okay, 2 more questions, and then I'm gonna open it up to the audience. So if you guys have some questions, get them ready. So first off, I feel like your visuals are crazy because I don't see them. I don't see them in like no other places. Like when you did the shoot in a golf field, and everyone was looking mad swaggy, and then you had like the golf cart aesthetic. I'm curious to know, like, what is your process like in terms of thinking of these ideas and just having an aesthetic that every piece of it is like cohesive. And yeah, like the inspiration is there, and when you see it, you're like, oh shoot, that's like a golf aesthetic. And also process in terms of like projects, like you did 100 individual one-of-ones. And that dropped in October. Yep. So like, yeah, like how do you get those types of ideas, and what is your like artistic process like?
Well, specifically, at least in terms of visuals, you know, coming to like a creative campaign, I try to just make sure. I don't know, like I said, it's a bit of an intuition thing. You know, I know what I can represent my brand with, so. Once I get that idea, you know, I just try to build on it, specifically in terms of that golf shoot. You know, literally just golf being in my mind and just figuring out how hay can represent golf. You know, so making specific pieces for just that shoot. actually going to a golf course and just scouting a couple out to make sure it's the right atmosphere. Just making sure everything is complete full circle. You know, I don't want to half-ass anything. I mean, I take my work pretty seriously, so I'm just trying to make sure every aspect of it is serious. I feel like that's where like some people kind of lack, you know, in certain areas of their creative work. They, you know, they're very serious here, but they're not serious here, so it kind of doesn't really match up, and it shows a bit. But you know, I just try to make sure that's like, to me, that's the most important part. You know, like the little things, just the, you know, like you said, the golf cart being a part of it. You know, actually being on the golf course, because you know, you could always go to a grass field and do something, but you know, that wasn't my goal. My goal was to present it how I wanted to present it, which was genuine, you know, authentic.
And having it like live through other mediums like photography, like video.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's our method of communication too now, just with the heavy use of social media and everything like that. So I just know, I feel like I know how to convey a message through visuals. So you know, that's just my way of communication. Like I said in the beginning, I don't consider myself a good speaker, but you know, I consider myself a good visualist. You know, I think I can convey a message, you know, in my mind. I definitely know what I'm saying, but it might not come out the right way through the words, but definitely through my vision, I feel like it's accurate. So.
All right. So last burning question is, what advice would you give to young artists or just young like creatives, especially those who can relate to you and where you grew up, or you know, young artists in Baltimore that may, you know, want to make clothes one day, or you know, do something like you do, or inspired by you? What would you tell them?
Honestly, and it sounds a bit cliche, but you know, it's really just about like your action, you know, making sure you do it, and your intent behind it, you know. I feel like anyone knows if they're not putting 100% effort into what they're doing. So as long as you know you're really into your work, and you're committed, you know. I mean,
Your money don't make money.
I could say the never give up thing, but no, that's very true, you know. I mean, I could say I've lost money, you know, on certain drops and things like that, but you know, I've also gained, you know, profit and things like that. So that's definitely important. I feel like people don't really, they have ideas and they don't really act on it more so. I wouldn't say it's out of fear, but just out of lack of knowledge. You know, people don't know how to get access to these materials and things like that. So, you know, I want to be someone that can like show you how to do it. I mean, I do my own production, so you know, I have people ask me all the time, like, how do I do it? And I, you know, I give them access to the tools, let them know how I get it done, so they can do it themselves. Because I mean, that's important.
Sharing knowledge is like
Power, you know.
because some people don't want to tell you, you know, what their process is like, and I feel like within our community, like we need to do that so we could come up together. You know what I mean?
I kind of had that, you know, in the beginning, but just understanding like that's really not. I mean, I considered it more so. I told myself that if you're gonna do the same thing as me, you know, you're not doing what I do though. Not in like a copy sense, but you know, we're individuals. I have my own vision, so we're in the same place, but you know, you're not gonna take away from my vision or anything like that. You know, so I don't consider it can only help. You know what I'm saying? It's like this is a community thing. You know, so consider my brand, you know, a community. You know, people that wear it. It's just like they all come together, so it's something relatable. And I want to keep it like that, just in the air, you know, like when you think of my brand and things like that, just a cohesive unit, you know, everything coming full circle, like I said. Even in that.
Cool. All right, so that is the talk.